Welcome to Beyond the Bounce, presented by ZTE. I'm your host, Byron Bogart, and joining me today, special guest, Mr. Zachary Chu, assistant coach Zachary Chu, I'm sorry there. Now, do you prefer Zachary or Zach?
Zach's easier, but
all right.
I'd say 95% of the world goes with Chu.
Uh-huh.
So
95%. So who's that 5 that doesn't go with Chu?
Girlfriend.
Okay.
Girlfriend usually goes with Zach, and then an occasional coach or two has called me Zach. So,
all right.
Including Bob.
Including Bob. So Bob goes with Zach?
Bob goes with
and
Zach.
the rest of the staff goes with Chu?
That's right.
All right. So we'll go with Chu with the rest of this interview.
All right.
All right. So you grew up in Dallas? What part of Dallas?
From Highland Park, so right by downtown.
Okay. Little tradition out there in basketball, huh?
Good tradition. Big football town.
Uh-huh.
It feels like Friday Night Lights in terms of football, and basketball is kind of a close second.
Yeah.
But I was around good players. Mm-hmm. Like my teams growing up were all really good. My high school team, we won our district. Mm-hmm. So good high school teams overall growing up.
All right, and a point guard back at Highland Park?
Not many decisions. When you're 5'8", you just kind of stick to what you know, and
you work on that handles and that jump shot?
You work on that handle. You get the ball across half court, and you work on that jump shot, make an open shot, and you got a chance in high school at least. So.
Now, with that height challenge that you had, I'm not saying that you put your height out there. I didn't do it. Did you always know you wanted to be a coach, or did you still have that dream of going to the NBA?
No NBA dreams.
Okay.
I knew I wanted to play in college, but I would say my dad coached, and so from a young age, I knew I wanted to coach. Mm-hmm. And so, like in ninth grade, I remember I was playing on an AAU team, and I was coaching an AAU team. Mm-hmm. And so I would literally, like, if we had games in the same gym, I would play a game and I'd walk off the court.
Switch.
and I would literally take my jersey off and go coach the next game.
Now, which team was better, the playing team or the coach team?
Probably the coaching team, considering I was playing on that team, on the one that obviously. So my team that I played was never as so
you had more
talented.
minutes on this team, and then the coaching. Were you a player coach, or you just straight out coached?
Oh, just straight coach.
So that's where you got that passion, and then you went to college at Richmond.
Went to college. Went to Richmond. I walked on at Richmond, and like where I was at a high school, I could have played like a Division III, low Division I, Ivy, Patriot kind of idea, and I knew I wanted to coach. So going to Richmond, the idea there was really about being around the best coaches that I could. Mm-hmm. And Chris Mooney at the time, who's still there, he was a young, up-and-coming guy, extremely smart. And Richmond had they went to a Sweet 16 right before I got there. And Richmond's always had this identity of overachieving. They play with really a lot of finesse, really like Princeton offense, matchup zone defense, and really they bring things out of their culture too. It's a lot about the people they bring in. We bring highly skilled players in, but yet we're an academic school, probably the best academics in the league in the A10, and so you have to have this identity that you're going to overachieve and play together and move the ball. And I wanted to learn it and be a part of a system that was about that.
So you put in 4 years of learning, playing, and then picking up whatever you could from the coaching staff. Right. And then what led to your first opportunity in coaching?
Yeah, so my mentor in coaching, who's a family friend, is George Raveling. He was the international director of Nike for 20 years, for Nike basketball. And so during the summers, I would go to China, and Rav started a camp over in China called Nike All Asia, and we would go over there and coach the top 15 to 18-year-olds in Asia. It was like in between 7 and 10 countries of kids that would fly in, and it was all NBA coaches that coached that camp, all player development guys. And that's actually where I met my boss for the Clippers. My boss for the Clippers was over there with me coaching a camp, and I joined the Clippers in the 15-16 season right out of college. So I was doing player development. I interned for him right out of college. So
you took that job at the Clippers, and then that led to you being assistant coach with your first year here with the Legends. We had a successful season, got to 25 wins. But then we one-upped it here in your second year to 29 wins and a playoff appearance. Kind of how was that going from player development? Were you an intern, player development coach?
Player development.
Okay, how was that transition to straight? You're an assistant coach. You're right there with Coach Mack in the Fire.
Yeah, the experience in LA was it was very diverse. I was on the floor in player development, whether I was helping other guys work out or I was working on my own guys. And when you're on the floor with those guys, they're constantly talking. They love talking, and so I can always ask those guys questions, the coaches and the players. And I learned a lot from asking questions in LA. Like guys like Chris Paul, asking him about what he thought about certain situations and certain plays, or JJ Redick, who honestly, he might be the smartest player that I've ever been around. And so you learn a lot from that. And then to be around a coaching staff, I got to be around Doc Rivers, I got to be around Lawrence Frank, and I got to be around my boss, Dave Severns, a lot. On the floor, in the office, and just to be around those guys, I learned the NBA game when I was in LA. And so coming here, I felt like I had a lot to contribute, and I could add a lot of value because I understood the NBA game, and I feel like I understand what it takes for these guys to make that next step. So that was the idea when I came here. To me, the G League is all about player development, and I think that's something that we emphasize here. And so to have that kind of background and then to come here, I felt like I really could add a lot of value. So
now we lost a tough one on the road to RGV in this new single elimination format. How was that coaching in that one game, one and done scenario at the pro level?
It was fun. I'd never been in a playoff G League game before, so I didn't really know what it was like before. But from the start, just the competitiveness you could tell was turned up a notch from the regular season, and it felt like a playoff atmosphere in that sense. Possessions felt tighter. Guys you could see it on their faces, and you can see that there's just more emotion and more there's really more stress in each possession.
Got to take care of that ball a little bit more. More important on that, huh?
Exactly.
But more of an emphasis on that.
And there was a slow start for both teams. And honestly, I just felt like that was just because there really was that much extra, oomph and pressure on each guy. So.
Now, with the season ending like that, what's the next step in the offseason? What's your offseason for a coach? Is it any kind of time off, or are you right into next year, new players, new plays?
I'll spend a couple of weeks reflecting. I'll continue to work out the guys that are in town, like Jamil Warney. We worked out some this week. Keith Hornsby stays in town. So I'll work out guys, so I'll keep in touch with them. And, like I said, it's all about the players in this league. I'll continue, even if guys are out of town, to talk to them and make sure that they're on the right path this summer first. That's my first objective. Secondly, I'll reflect on our team and evaluate myself and kind of get ready for the summer. Starting in June, I'll go back to China. I'll work Nike All Asia again in China this summer, and then we go right into Summer League in July. So.
And for some of these players here at the end, how important is it to have that one-on-one relationship even in the summer? We're not playing games, but you still stay in contact, work some guys out here or there. How important is that?
It's huge. And, this league is all about relationships, whether it's the NBA or the G League. And, you have to have a sound base for a relationship with a guy in order to be able to tell somebody something that they don't want to hear. Especially nowadays, and
well, nobody likes to be told something they don't want to hear. Coach.
Exactly, and so that's one thing about I'm a young coach, and to me it's as much of an advantage as it is a disadvantage at this time because I can relate to guys. I just played a few years ago. My best friends in college were all players, and so I kind of know what these guys are going through, and it's just a different game. Like. People always talk about the new age player, the 21st century player. And I believe that the players today are different. There's just, especially in this league, there's so many distractions. And it's never
Twitter, the gram, all that, coach.
Exactly.
Snapchat.
Exactly. Social media has changed the game. I mean, you look at, just like constantly guys are on their phones, and in this league, all they're looking at is NBA plays. NBA highlights, NBA interviews. And then you just get these, wide range of ideas of what an NBA player should be. Like these guys that are so cool off the court. Like you see them walk into the locker room, they're dressed, they're so casually dressed. Or, Westbrook's got his trends with the way he dresses.
Very trendy.
And their post-game interviews, how cool they can act with those things. But at the end of the day, what players have to realize, and young players have to realize that are looking up to these guys, is those players are killers. And when it comes down to when they're playing in a game, they will do anything it takes. I mean, they will kill you to get a basket.
That's right.
And so it's just, social media portrays so many different pictures for these guys. And it's really hard to keep guys in the present and to keep them, keep their mind in one place. I mean, every player today pretty much has ADD.
Really?
I mean, so you have to keep guys, locked in and focused on the right things.
Well, Coach, before we let you go, we're going to get you off of basketball real quick. As a player, did you have any pregame music you listened to?
Pregame music?
Yeah.
Nothing like what these guys listen to now.
No Migos?
No Migos.
Okay.
Like Maroon 5.
Okay.
Right? But no Migos. And honestly, the music that I listen to probably wouldn't pass in the
It wouldn't
locker
pass
room.
over
No.
there? But that was your own personal headset.
That's right. Nobody could
Yeah.
hear it but me, and that was the best thing about that.
Maroon 5 all day. And as a coach, has that changed? Do you listen? Has your listening?
I listen to less
changed?
music. I listen to less music this year than I ever have in my life. And honestly, part of it, when you're driving, there's so many. You have no excuse now to listen to music as opposed to a podcast or an audio book. I mean, there's so many ways to learn now. You're surrounded, and then you're always on social media, right? So you're never listening to music. You're listening to interviews and all the different things that I talked about with the players. So at the end of the day, there's just less of an excuse to listen to music now as there was.
True.
So.
Now, we ask the players this all the time. Your favorite coach and your favorite teammate of all time. You go back to Little League, whatever.
Favorite coach? My dad was my favorite coach. He coached all of my teams growing up. He coached in college. He was at Miami for 5 years.
And what type of coach was he? Was he to get in your face or just to
That's a
dial
good
back and get
question.
you later?
That's a good question. He was young. I don't think he was get in your face. I've never gotten the full read on
Yeah.
it, but I don't think he was a get in your face type. But he was really smart. And I think people pick up on that quickly, just like today. If you talk to him today, within a minute, you pick up this guy is really smart. If I could be half as smart as my dad is, I'll probably be okay.
Look at a deeper angle at things, huh?
Yeah.
Does he know he was your favorite coach? Have you ever told him that?
I think so.
Okay, well, this is your chance to tell him right there.
He did get kicked out of a game one time. It was in third grade, and he got kicked out of our game.
Third grade?
Third grade. We were up one, and at that point in third grade, there's a rule that you can't press in the backcourt.
Well, in a certain amount of minutes, right? Or
Right.
just period?
I think, there was a minute left in the game.
Okay, that's all fair.
So this kid walks in the backcourt to try and pick up full court,
Yeah.
and he had this natural reaction that led to a tech. and then another technical foul. The
Two
kid,
quick ones. Boom,
and so
boom.
this little third grade kid is on the line with 4 free throws to win the game.
Yeah, he hit 'em.
And I can just remember watching this kid just heave these free throws at the rim, and they all went in.
All of them, all 4 swishes. Did it hit the rim? Something?
They hit the rim.
So they bounced around.
It's impossible to make a swish when you shoot it in a straight line at the
And it just
basket.
somehow went in.
But they went in. So
Now, were you the point guard who was about to get pressed at that time?
yeah, he was just defending me.
You didn't just tell Dad, I got this. Don't worry. Don't get the technicals.
He had my back.
So how about favorite teammate? Do you have a favorite teammate out there? And do they know that they were your favorite teammate of all time?
Oof. Favorite teammate, I played with Kendall Anthony in college.
Okay.
Kendall was my class. He's 5'8", and he ended up setting the record at Richmond for all-time three-pointers. He was the starting point guard three of the 4 years that he played at Richmond, and the best guy of all time.
Yeah.
He had your back, but like I said about killer instinct,
Yeah.
Kendall had a killer instinct. We showed up the first day, and we had pick up the first night at Richmond, the first night I ever got to college. And I walked in, I was pretty relaxed, and I was laughing with some of the older guys. Kendall didn't say a word. And we got out there, and I think we played a pickup game to 15. I think he scored 14 of the 15 points the first time I was guarding him.
Yes, you
He
too.
just torched me.
Now, was that one-on-one game because there's another 5'8" guy in the room and we got to see who's the best 5'8" guy?
And freshman.
Okay.
And I just don't know what he expected from me.
Yeah.
And so he didn't want to take any chances.
Yeah.
I had zero interest in trying to get into this guy and trying to take his spot. But man, he had to make sure from
You're
the
another
start.
5'8" guy. He can't have another 5'8" guy stepping on his territory. I would love to see footage of that if one of your friends have footage of that.
Of the pickup game?
Yes.
I can really
All right,
recover some.
I can't wait to check it out. And Kendall, thanks for being such a great teammate. All right, so time for the most debatable part of this show.
Okay.
All-time NBA greats, top 5.
Top 5. So, yeah, I'm 25 years old.
Yep.
So my NBA greats,
Yeah.
like Coach McKinnon, will go back,
They're
right?
your greats.
Wilt Chamberlain to him was
Yep, they're
right.
yours. Don't let anybody bully you in changing your list. This is your list.
Okay. So Steve Nash was my favorite point guard
All right.
growing up. And to me, the reason why in the modern generation, the reason why Steve Nash was the best point guard, it was because he set this trend, and he started this idea of the modern NBA.
Yeah.
Spread offense, spread pick and roll, hurry up offense. I mean, he was the one who started all that,
Yep.
right? So I would put Nash in there. Kobe at 2.
All right.
I got to watch Kobe play live in Dallas when I was in 6th grade. One of the AU teams I was on, they had floor seats, so I sat on the floor
Yeah.
at the Mavs game
Yeah.
and watched Kobe drop. I think it was like 47 and a game winner, and that was it. Kobe became my favorite player.
Was it just how you got to that 47? Was it little things
Just
in between
the
the
swag,
game?
just swagger. I mean,
The way he drunk the Gatorade?
everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it just. I had just never seen anything like that, and to be up close, I mean, you just get shell shocked, so after the game, we were in the locker room, and I had a Kobe jersey on, and so I walked up to him as he was leaving, and I said, "Kobe, will you sign my jersey?" And he pulled his pen out. He was about to sign it, and the thing was Adidas.
Ooh.
And I guess part of his contract was he couldn't sign an Adidas jersey.
Nope.
So he goes, "Sorry, kid," and he handed it back, and that was like the worst
Yeah.
day of my life.
You got to
right?
be
So-
prepared. True, he can't do that.
all right, so we go LeBron at 3.
Yep. If you want to, it's your list.
I'll go LeBron at 3.
All right.
Never been a LeBron fan, but it's hard to argue, and especially today
Yeah.
with him about to complete 82 games
He's
this
my
season.
MVP this year. Everybody says Harden, but he's my MVP.
It's hard to argue. I mean, I've only got to be a part of one NBA season, but it is a long season. And to imagine, we lost in the first round that year to Portland in the playoffs. To imagine going to the NBA Finals 7 years in a row and to play 100-plus games 7 years in a row,
It's rough.
and to do what he's doing now, LeBron James he's something
All right.
else.
So he's locked in at that 3. You got 2 more spots, and you can interchange positions if you need to. Cause
I'll stay traditional. We'll put Duncan at 4.
okay,
Okay. Tim Duncan. I mean, it's just hard to argue with what he did. I mean, just like every guy I've said to me in the modern generation has set some sort of trend. I mean, Tim Duncan defines a skilled post player, right? And even though, in today's game he'd probably be a 5, just the way as skilled as he was and as talented as he was, and I didn't know him personally, but to hear about how good of a teammate as he was, and that he led all those teams to championships, means a lot.
all right, one spot.
So we'll play Duncan and Dirk together.
Duncan and Dirk.
I'm
Okay.
from Dallas. I grew up with Dirk Nowitzki. I remember going to all those playoff, the 2011 series, the 2006 series, and every game in between.
Yeah.
I went to a lot of Mavs
Yeah.
games. And
Now you just opened a whole new can of worms here,
All right.
Coach. All season long, I think this is the very first time in this show to where Michael Jordan was not even on that top 5. How do you feel about that historic moment, Coach?
I didn't see Jordan.
Okay.
I'm going with the guys that
All
I
right.
personally have seen.
All right. Well, you're going up there
I've seen
alone.
some tape.
Your list is by itself, so nobody else has a list like
I've
yours.
seen some tape. I'm sure Jordan is on there, and honestly,
Nope, it's your 5.
I'm sure
Don't let it-
Jordan.
don't let it
Oh,
change.
it's okay. Jordan would be number 1, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure if I
you
saw
checked
that,
him out a little bit
if
more.
I checked him out, but just based on a few tapes, I can't speak to him. Larry
fair.
Bird, Magic Johnson. Coach wants to talk about Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah.
I haven't
You
even
hearing that?
seen a film of Wilt
Yeah.
Chamberlain. If I saw Wilt Chamberlain on the street, I wouldn't know it. I would walk right by him.
Oh, man.
Besides the fact that he's 7
shoot.
feet tall.
Oh,
It's-
you've opened it up now. This is going to be a crazy off season.
I'll hear about this for sure.
Well, Coach, thanks for taking time out today and joining us. And thank you for watching us today.
Thanks, Pete.
Until next time, we'll see you later.